So, if we look at this, what I want to do now is just spend a little bit of time and have a look at what does this thing mean. So what does this mean for reading people? Because, all jokes aside, I would like you to walk out of here and have a bit of a different perspective on how you're going to read people. So, one of the first things that we're going to look at when we start reading, and we are always asked, what do you do if you meet a psychopath? Well, you're not going to know, generally. And, don't get in a car with them, don't drink lots of alcohol, and don't lie in bed and let them tape you up, would be mine. I don't think that you would pay for that advice, that's what I But the thing that we're looking at is, what am I seeing here? When I'm reading someone, what am I looking for? What do I want? Because deception's out of the game. If you're looking for deception, you're in the wrong game, seriously. Research is unequivocal. It's not all published, but I can show you the research. We have a partner in the US called HumanTel, who's involved in doing research around deception. I can show you that chasing deception is completely irrelevant. So then why read? Why do I want to see the silent signal? Why do I want to do that stuff, right? So there's a bad behaviour, and we get bad behaviour. What's interesting, I'm going to show you in a moment where we interpret bad behaviour because of a bias that we have where we want to attribute things to an individual rather than a situation. So some of you will know that the brain is hardwired to attribute something to the individual rather than the situation, right? And so what are we seeing? Is this bad behaviour? Are they just being bad, just this type? Right, so my daughter, basically, she's number one, right? So she has a lot of bad behaviour. Okay, so she does things, they're naughty, right? They're bad behaviour. Actually, she's too. She's either going to be a serial killer or Prime Minister, one of them. Bad person, seriously. Whether we like to hear this or not, you have to work with bad people. That's personality, that's, that's hardwired. They do things because they're intrinsically selfish, because they are nasty, because they are mean. They have personality traits which predispose them to being very unpredictable and being very impulsive. They're being quite angry. And the problem is, you're not going to change that. You're not going to change that. You can coach the hang out of them. You can counsel the hang out of them. At the end of the day, they're going to be that. And you want to read for that because, quite seriously, if you can get a handle on the fact, the difference between those two, it's an important delineation to make when you're reading. What about this one? Bad day. Yeah? Anyone here put their hand up and say they honestly never had a day where they've done something where someone's gone, that's not right. The thing is, and here's the difference, I'll give you a quick example to explain this for you on the read, right? Oh, what's your name, mate? Chris. Chris. I just do that because it makes me feel like I'm on stage. And Chris. Do you want to get up? So I've known Chris for 4 years, right? And pretty much just about every day I can think of since I've known him, when I come into the office, he's already been there. And pretty much most of the time he's the last to leave, right? He doesn't say much in meetings, but when he does, people listen, they stop. And I can honestly say I don't think I've ever heard him yell. In the whole 4 years I've known him, I don't think I've heard him yell. He often looks at my stuff for me. Okay, when I send memos and reports to him, he actually takes the time and he puts pretty cool comments in there and he sends them back to me within a pretty short period of time. Okay. So Friday afternoon I walk into Chris and I say, Chris, can you have a bit of a look at this document for me? He turns around and goes, what is it with you people? You idiots! Why do I have to look at all your stuff all the time? Right? Punch him in the throat and I run. So before that, what do you think I'm looking at? In terms of reading him, for the last 4 years, what am I seeing? Attributes. Yes, I'm seeing attributional behaviour. That's what he's like. What am I reading though when I see him on the day when I walk in? That's motivation. That's motivated behaviour, primarily driven by emotion. Now, because I'm emotionally intelligent, let's not go there, but because I have an understanding of the language of emotion, I understand that the universal trigger for anger is goal obstruction, norm violation, or perceived injustice. I'm able quickly to speak to him and say, knowing which one. Have we violated a norm here? Is there injustice, or am I obstructing a goal? So, we do all the, hey man, you seem pretty angry today. He goes, no, sorry. He says, just, I've been waiting for this holiday for 3 years, and if I'm not out of here at 3 o'clock and I miss that flight, we miss the boat. So now I can go, that's a goal obstruction, asking him to do this is a goal obstruction, right? And there's a little bit of, this is not right, you asked me to do that. Now, think about that. because I've read him and I know him well, am I able to make that distinction? Do this for yes, do this for no. It helps me understand if it's still with me. It's not that hard. And do this for I'm not sure. You ever come to do training with us? You can't do that because we make you use whiteboards. But the only company in Australia, everyone gets a whiteboard. You're going to write every answer in the whiteboard and show everyone else. Oh yeah, so you're going to come there, wouldn't you? Guess what? We don't want you there. So, we only deal with motivated people. We do not want those people there. Thing is, imagine that someone was walking past the hallway when he was having his outburst. Right, so I'm thinking, oh, I'd like to work here. Yeah, come and have a look around. Okay, this is Chris, he's out. No, don't go in Chris's office. Can you see the risk with this whole reading people thing? Context is a big deal. Delineating between attributes and emotions is a big deal. Right? It's not just enough to go, have you got your arms folded or not? We need to understand the principles that underpin why we're reading and what we're reading for. If we don't have those, none of this stuff works. Right? We see this one probably more than we see anything else. Right? Then we see this one. The thing about this, I'm going to show you in a little while, I'm going to show you why we often misinterpret this as bad behaviour when in fact it's quite normal behaviour, it's just a result of my personality. You think it's bad because you don't like it. It's not what you want, so you call it bad behaviour. We're going to talk about, for example, people high on agreeableness that say yes to things all the time until they're so stressed they can't deliver, and we see them as unreliable.